Hi. All right. So, welcome. So we're going to talk about SLAs, SLIs, SLOs today. If this is a topic that you know a lot about, you may not learn a ton here, but one of the reasons why I developed this talk is because something that I've learned or seen is that even though this is not necessarily a new thing in our space, there's still a lot of people that are confused about some of the basics around this. So this is, when we talk about SLAs, SLIs, SLOs, or SLXs, if we kind of want to like, you know, just give a broader encapsulation of them, this is a very deep topic. So what we're going to do here is just kind of introduce you to SLXs, why they exist, give just kind of an overview. And then there's a talk after mine, which will probably be a lot more useful going in depth. But hopefully this will be entertaining, if nothing else. Low bar. I'm trying to set low expectations here. All right. Briefly, I'll introduce myself. So mostly as a way of introducing my corporate sponsor. Your employers love it when you call them corporate sponsors. But I work for Fanatics Betting and Gaming. So we are Fanatics is a sports company, a global sports company, and I work for Fanatics Betting and Gaming, which is we provide an online sports book. So we're building a sportsbook application, which is now live in a couple of states within the United States. All right, so we're going to start off, as I said, if you've been following some of my LinkedIn posts, I promised there would be sock puppets. So there are sock puppets. I'm going to introduce you to our cast here at the beginning. We have Spot from Site Reliability, Zippy from Information Security, and Penny from Product Management. Yeah, let's do this. Does anybody want to read the parts? They're going to have a speech. They're going to have parts. If we have 3 volunteers, we can do parts. Who do you want? Zippy? I saw a hand over here. Spot? And who wants to be Penny? I'll be Penny. All right. Okay. So Penny's going to start here. Features, features. We need to ship features. You know somebody like Penny, right? Spot. No, we don't. Our product is garbage. We must improve quality. Well done. It's not garbage. It will just never be good enough for you. Features make value. And how much value did our features provide during our outage last week? Features! Bang, crash, kerpow, sock puppets fighting. Yeah, you're gonna have to imagine some of this. I didn't actually bring sock puppets. Okay, Zippy, here's your moment.
Hey guys, what about security?
Stay out of this, nobody asked you. And all together, I'm just trying to look out for our customers. Well done, thank you so much. Your software is bad. Your software is bad. Hopefully I haven't completely lost you. Does anybody feel offended by this statement? No, okay. It is reality. But we, as craftspeople, as engineers who build software, we want to love our software. We want to feel good about it. But the truth about quality, and what we're talking about here as the talk progresses, is we're talking mostly about, as we talk through like features and reliability, is quality and features and sort of some of the dynamics here and how they play together. And one of the things that we need to understand about reliability and quality is that more isn't always better, right? Like there is a functional limit, and so our customers don't actually care how proud we are about our software. There's no award for that. Nobody gets a gold medal, or you know, the fact that you love your software doesn't matter to your customers. You can hate it, you can love it, it doesn't matter. So the question when it comes to understanding reliability is really this question of where is the right point to stop, right? How much badness, what is the right amount of bad or good that our products should have? I'm going to walk you through a graph here. This is a dumb graph. It's dumb because I made it. But we'll start with our horizontal axis. We're going to call this reliability. Reliability here as sort of the lower bound, the lower acceptable bound of quality. And we'll talk about why that is. But our vertical axis then, we're going to talk first about customer value. If we were to graph out customer value and reliability, it's going to be kind of a weird curve, and it's going to look something like this. This is sort of arbitrary. Again, I drew this, and there's no numbers and labels, but you can imagine. And there are two inflection points on this graph. The first is basically the reality that below some threshold of reliability, below some sort of minimum threshold, there's no value. Like, nobody's going to use your product if it doesn't work at least some percentage of the time, right? And then as your reliability gets better, people get more value out of it. But then there's a second inflection point, which is that there's a point where increasing your reliability doesn't actually add customer value. Going from 4 nines to 5, 5 nines to 6, 6 nines to 10. If I were to sell you a product, any product, pick a product, a cell phone, a washing machine, a car, whatever it is, and if I were to tell you that that product you could buy and it would last 50 years, you'd probably go, that's great. And then if I were to ask you how much more value that would have to you if it would last 5,000 years, you'd probably say almost none. Almost no more marginal value has been created. You're not going to live 5,000 years. I'm not going to live 5,000 years. So there is an upper inflection point too, where we start having kind of decreasing marginal gains. And cost comes into play. So if we map out cost also hockey sticks exponentially, right? So there's a point if we start going 4 nines to 5 nines, 5 nines to 6, how many nines do we get to before you start having to like have interdimensional deployments, and you know, it's just like it's you can't get there in reality. The cost goes insane. And then so really the whole exercise is, how do we zero in on that rightmost inflection point? How do we find that space? Because if we are on the left side of that, we're losing money. We're losing money because let's say that our reliability is here, somewhere left of this inflection point. We have unrealized value. We could be adding more value to our product if we increased our reliability. And if we're on the other side of it, we're also losing value or losing money because our unit economics of cost to value don't make sense. So the exercise is really about finding that point. And if we're to go back and talk through developer opinions, this is why we don't care about the developer opinion, because it's this weird step function of mostly we just think the code we work on is trash. And for us to actually be a little proud of it takes this insane level of effort that goes way beyond what customers actually care about. So we don't really consider developer opinion in this. The mission is find that point, right? Find that inflection point, get there, and stay there. So how do we do that? Well, that's what this talk is about. Let's put this another way. So I told you that the lower acceptable bound of quality is reliability. So we can articulate that this way. If we were to talk about quality, we can say, I believe these two statements are true, that if your application is lacking some feature, some of your customers will be unhappy. Some of your customers will wish that it had that feature. But if you are lacking reliability at some threshold, all of your customers will be unhappy. So quality is a very complex term, right? We could say that features also provide quality. There are a lot of things that we could talk about that increase the quality of your application. But I believe we can all agree that at some point, reliability is sort of the table stakes, the minimum. It has to work. Your software has to work. So that's why reliability is kind of our lower bound on quality. Think of it this way. I call this the bucket exercise. Let's say that you had two buckets, one of them labeled quality, the other one labeled features. And every day, every user that you have gets a token, and they can throw it in one of the two buckets. Now, predictably, if your software is working well, your users are going to throw their tokens in the feature bucket. Why would they? The quality is fine, right? They want more features. They love what they're getting from you. They want more of it. Features, features, features all day long. If you have a bad day, then your customers are probably going to be throwing their tokens in the quality bucket. But what's interesting is if you have a couple of bad days or a few bad days in a row, even once your software is working again, your customers are probably going to be throwing their tokens in the quality bucket still, because you've lost trust with them. The last talk was all about trust, and once you've lost trust with your customers with reliability issues, they want you to fix them. So back to the mission here is defining the right amount of bad, finding that, that inflection point in your product that articulates the right amount of reliability and quality. So who gets to decide where that is? Who of these characters gets to tell us where that inflection point lies in our product? And the answer, of course, is none of them. When we talk about the bucket experiment, right, the answer here is that our customers need to be telling us. This gets us into service levels. All right, so service levels here. Service levels, the first thing, the theme of this is knowing what your customers care about when it comes to using your product. So if you haven't heard of the acronyms before, I'm throwing this up, but you probably know what they are. So service level agreements, service level indicators, and service level objectives. We're gonna open a pizza shop together. This is the exercise, the metaphor that we will use to talk through service levels, SLAs, SLIs, SLOs. So we've opened up a pizza shop. We named it Pizza, all in capitals, because it's an acronym that stands for pizza is an acronym. Because in tech, everything has to be a recursive acronym to be cool, right? So this is our pizza shop. So service level agreements. Service level agreements are probably the thing that you understand the best already. A service level agreement is usually an external agreement. It's a contract. This is something that you usually written have between you and your customers, and it outlines what you're going to provide, what they want from you, and then what happens if you breach the agreement. There's usually like an or else, like what happens if you don't deliver on your SLAs. But importantly, SLAs can be internal too. This isn't, they don't tend to be like contractual agreements in terms of like legal arrangements, but it can be beneficial to create SLAs between internal teams. That's probably a whole other talk we could give, but just sort of a side note here. So when it comes to our pizza shop, back in the 80s and 90s, well before the age of smartphones and Uber Eats and like all the delivery, in the United States, if you wanted delivery food, pizza was like the only way to go. Like they were the only restaurants that would routinely deliver food was pizza. And pizza restaurants, Domino's most notably, had this SLA with the public. They said, we will get you your pizza in 30 minutes or it's free. Now they had to discontinue this because drivers were like running people over to meet the 30 minutes, and like it was bad. It was real bad. But this was what they went with for a while. And so there's three important parts here. The first is your pizza, 30 minutes is the second, or it's free is the third. And if we break these down, this is the SLA. The things the customers care about. You get your pizza, not someone else's. You get it in 30 minutes or less. And then the or else part of the SLA is or it's free. So that's SLAs. Let's talk about SLIs next. So the SLIs, these are the indicators of your service level. These are the things that your customers care about. Now, remember, these are customer-centric. This is actually the most important thing to remember, and the thing that people get confused about so much when talking about SLOs, SLIs, SLAs. The thing that is confusing is most people just think this is a buzzword, right? Oh, SLOs are just another way of saying metrics, or just another way of, right? It's just a buzzword du jour, and the meaning of them often gets lost. SLIs are customer-centric. So, in the space of our pizza shop here, our customers care about pizza. They care about the food they're getting. They don't care about your electricity bill. They don't care about your ingredient costs. They don't care about the wages that you pay out. As a business owner, I care about those things, but my customers don't. They care about getting their food. And if we translate that to our space, your SLIs aren't going to be around CPU or memory usage or network utilization or any of the other things that your customers give zero shits about, right? They are about the things that you deliver to them. So SLIs then, back to our pizza shop. If we're going to create SLIs around this SLA, the indicators are your pizza in 30 minutes. In other words, your pizza. This speaks to order accuracy. We want to make sure that we get the food we ordered. This is true of anything, actually. If you think about the last time you ordered food on a delivery app, there's two things you really care about beyond the price. The price is something that you can either choose to accept or not accept right up front. But once you've ordered the food, there's really only two things you care about. You care that it's the food you ordered, and you care that you get it in a reasonable time frame. So our SLIs here for our pizza shop are order accuracy and delivery time. And if we were to craft these into real SLIs, we would then take it a step further, define a threshold, and set up a monitor. So we would say, for example, that on a daily basis, we want to have 95% order accuracy. So on any given day, our SLI is that our customers, at least 95% of them, will receive the pizza they ordered as they ordered it. 95 is an arbitrary statement here. This could be 99.9, 94, 92. This is generally, it depends on what your customers are willing to accept and what they want. It goes back to that statement of what they care about. So for the sake of the example here, I've chosen 95%, but that's completely arbitrary. This is something that you would want to set. If we were actually running the pizza shop together, we would need to sit down and ask the question of what is the appropriate SLI to set? What is the right threshold? And then delivery time. Again, we've chosen 95%, completely arbitrary, but we're going to track the delivery time for all of our pizzas, and then on a daily basis, our SLI is to have 95% of them delivered in 30 minutes or less. So these are now SLIs. And in our pizza shop, we would probably have a sticky up on the wall, and every day we would ask ourselves, or the manager who's closing out, you or me, would go through all the orders and compute this and say, did we hit these SLIs today? And did we hit our order accuracy? Did we hit our delivery? Yes or no? Was it a good day? Now, what happens if you haven't met an SLI? If we didn't deliver all the pizzas on time, or if we didn't meet our accuracy SLI, what would we do? What would you do? If your answer is you would fire all the drivers and fire all the chefs, congrats, you're a psychopath. The answer really is it depends. It depends a lot on what do the other days look like? Right? Is this a consistent problem? Are you meeting your SLIs all the time? Are you looking at calendar B, where for the most part, you're doing good? Or is this more like calendar A, where you've got problems, right? Because you're failing to meet these every day. An important note here is that, again, context is everything. It might actually turn out that, yeah, you have calendar A, but the reason is that your SLIs aren't set well. Maybe they were too aggressive, right? So this is an iterative exercise. And maybe with calendar B, they weren't aggressive enough. So this is something that needs to go through constant iteration before you get it right and really zoom in on that correct point of articulation of how bad things can be. But this zooming out to the larger time frame is now at least part of what our service level objectives get to. So our objectives are goals that we set around our indicators. They are generally internal, so unlike our SLAs, we don't publish our SLOs usually. We don't have contracts around them that customers hold us to. There's no or else, at least for our external customers. We use them as pivot points for decisions that we make internally. So there is kind of an or else, but not really in those terms. We either met it or we're going to do something and make some decisions. But they're generally evaluated over larger windows. So in our pizza shop, we're looking at our SLIs on a daily basis. Our SLOs are computed. We're going to look at those more on like a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. And they're usually more aggressive than our SLAs. I'm going to give an example of that now. So with our pizza shop, let's say some company, awesome tech company, we'll call them, decides that they want to partner with us to provide an employee perk. And the employee perk is free pizza. So anytime an employee of awesome tech company calls us, they can order a pizza and awesome tech company will pay for that pizza. But in that arrangement, we have set up an SLA with Awesome Tech Company, or they have demanded an SLA of us, which is that they want us to hit 95% order accuracy and 95% delivery time for their employees. And if we don't do that, we're going to pay them $3 bajillion for each quarter where we failed to do that. Obviously, this is made up and stupid. But this sort of brings us to the space now where most of the time, unlike the original SLA, where we would pay out for every infraction, right? Every pizza that's late or every pizza that's wrong is free. This is more realistic to what you and I and our companies work with, which is that we deal in bulk, our bulk transactions, right? We have lots of transactions on our platforms, on our applications every day, and the SLAs really apply over the entirety of those. So we have an SLA now, and the SLA is 95% order accuracy on a quarterly basis and a 95% delivery time on a quarterly basis. So if you ran the shop, where would you set your SLOs? You'd probably set them considerably higher than 95%, something like 97, 98, or 99. You want a safety factor, right? Your internal objective should be to never have to pay out on your SLAs. Should be to never have to pay $3 bajillion to Awesome Tech Company. And so your SLOs give you that internal sort of warning point of if you ever breach your SLOs, you know you need to change something so that you don't breach your SLAs. So to recap here, SLAs are contracts usually with an or else. They have a statement that also provides for paying out if we don't meet them. SLIs are the things that we look at to determine our service level. And SLOs, sorry, are our goal statements around the indicators. They help us drive action. Now, one more perspective here is that SLIs, if you do them right, if we set these up correctly, if we define them correctly, our SLIs can tell us where we have problems. And our SLOs can tell us when we need to care about them. Right? Going back to the pizza shop example, on a daily basis, our SLIs tell us whether we have problems in delivery or whether we have problems in preparation. If we've breached our SLOs and we're going like, oh, we have a problem, where is it? We can examine our SLIs and see whether the problem is in the kitchen or with our drivers, right? And we would break them down further. We would have more SLIs. For example, our delivery SLO might actually be made up of multiple SLIs, one of which would be, or multiple of which could be the time that our pizzas take in each stage of preparation, because pizza preparation is also part of the overall delivery objective, right? So these can get much more complex. This is kind of just a stupidly simple pretense to talk about them at a very high level. But your SLOs tell you when you have a problem. Your SLIs tell you where and exactly what hurts. So now, lastly, let's talk about using our SLXs. There isn't another one. SLXs is, again, the abstraction for all of them. The first and most important, I believe, and again, there are many use cases for SLXs, and hopefully the next talk, I believe, will go more in detail and probably be more useful to you than this one. But one of the most important ones comes back to the initial fight that we were having as sock puppets around priorities. They can help you understand how to prioritize your work. But you have to go through the exercise. So there's 3 main steps to this. The first is you have to define your SLIs, your indicators. And you can start by asking yourself, what do our customers really expect, right? Again, setting your SLIs, these are not going to be CPU, they're not going to be memory, they're not going to be network utilization, unless you're selling infrastructure as a service, in which case, all right, cool, that's your thing, those might be SLIs for you. But for most of us, that's not. This is what your customers expect. Oftentimes, these are things around like response latency. How quickly do your customers expect to receive responses to their requests? Error rates, right, is another common one. But again, so much of this comes down to your specific product. If we were to sort of go back to the example of the pizza shop, you could say that, yes, every restaurant out there is tracking ingredients usage and employee wages and all those other things that are important for running a business. But the taco shop down the street, they actually don't deliver. So they wouldn't have a delivery SLI, right? They wouldn't be tracking that. And order accuracy, maybe they would have that, but these aren't portable, right? You can't just necessarily copy and paste the SLIs and SLOs from one product to another. This needs to be something that you make really kind of tailor-made to your product. Distill the answers to that question into discrete items that can be measured continually. So make monitors around these and create dashboards too. Step 2 is to create your SLOs from those SLIs. If you have SLAs, you can use those as a guidebook. Oftentimes, the SLAs will show what your customers actually care about. If you don't have SLAs, because maybe you're a B2C company, then you really need to ask yourself, what would our customers, or when would our customers start throwing tokens into the quality bucket? This is an exercise that you're going to have to work through, oftentimes in conjunction with product, to try and understand what your customers care about. And then use the status of your SLIs to determine the status of your SLOs, and don't be afraid to iterate. If you have done those things, step 3 is really easy. Step 3 is if you're meeting your SLOs, because again, SLOs, if we've done them right, SLOs have articulated to us where that inflection point is. They've told us, if you don't meet the SLOs, all of your customers will be mad at you around reliability. If we've done it right, then as long as you're meeting your SLOs, features, run wild. Work on features. You can prioritize features. You're safe because we're meeting our SLOs around reliability. But if you're not meeting your SLOs, you need to work on reliability. You need to prioritize quality work, tech debt, all the things that we as craftsmen, all the little corners and nicks and things that bug us as craftspeople. Congrats. If you're not meeting the SLOs, you get to go work on that. You get to go polish the product to a mirror shine, at least until you're meeting your SLOs again. Then you have to stop, I'm sorry, and you'll have to go back to working on features. If you do this right, you found it. You've identified the point. You know just how much badness can be in your product. And you've built the monitors that will help you stay there, right? This is a system. You've created monitors and dashboards and alerts around this that help you stay in place. Again, the mission is find the point, get there, stay there. So if you do it right, everybody's happy, and we can all take care of our customers. And that is SLAs, SLIs, SLOs. Thank you very much.